Tekken and fighting games seem to be reaching brand new heights this year in terms of popularity. Never have I seen so much hype about a fighting game, especially Tekken. Each subsequent character trailer gets more and more popular from Jin to Law. But what motivated me to make this video in the first place was the new trailer for Jun Kazama. Unlike the majority of the Tekken community, I'm actually one of the few who play Tekken actually for the story.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Well, now obviously guys, I genuinely love the Tekken combat. I enjoy the great fast-paced gameplay. Of course, it's a great time. But when I first got Tekken for myself, my very own copy of Tekken 5, I was completely enthralled by the narrative experience. Even though in hindsight we weren't really given that much in terms of a narrative, it was more of a taste than anything. But what we were given was executed at such a very high level. The characters' plots always left me wanting more, particularly Jin, Steve, Raven, Wang, and many other non-canon character endings as well.
Jin Kazama, a child of destiny. After fighting Kazuya and Heihachi, an evil spirit welled up within Jin. Awakened by an unknown voice, Jin looked around at a forest completely destroyed, and he knew he was the one who did it.
I actually personally first interacted with Tekken as an entire franchise was with Tekken 4. I'd gotten my hands on the PlayStation 2 and I luckily got a demo that included Tekken 4, which at the time only included Paul Phoenix and Christy Montero. Had a whole lot of fun playing through the arcade mode that was provided to us, and had a definite great time, and I have some really fond memories of that. But when I first got my own copy of Tekken 5, I was able to enjoy the multiple character campaigns, and of course Devil Within. Since then, narratively, Tekken has somewhat lost the ball a bit. They did do a little something special with the Tekken 6 scenario campaign, but for me it just didn't hit the spot. It was more exciting and interesting from a gameplay perspective than in terms of the narrative. Tekken 7 had a really great campaign, and it was great to see them follow the Injustice and Mortal Kombat campaign model. It was very well executed, but it was ultimately too short, as the entire campaign was actually only 3 hours. The single character stories also left much to be desired, with what it seems like little effort put into these individual characters, their cutscenes. There was no narration, and there wasn't really much heart put into each and every single one of their stories. Now, of course, we're understanding as people. Tekken 7 had issues. Tekken Tag Tournament 2, while it was a sensational game, financially it didn't sell well. Tekken 7 thus had budget constraints alongside with other issues. But with this title, the sky seems to be the limit. Introducing a living Jun Kazama has huge implications for the conclusion of the Mishima struggle. Her being alive and not being killed by Ogre makes my mind go crazy with theories. What is the root of her cleansing powers? Will this possibly make the entire Unknown Saga and Tekken Tag Tournament 2 canon? Or will they find some other sort of magical source? How did she survive this long? And why did she keep herself hidden all this time? A whole lot of things have been happening to Jin and the entire family, but she hasn't played a part as of yet. Now, another thing that comes to my mind personally is that I also think there is a slight possibility that she actually is still dead and perhaps is interacting with Jin and Kazuya in some sort of spirit form. Now, of course, it definitely that theory seems a little bit more of a stretch than anything, but possibly it could be even a reincarnation of some sort. And this narrative of Tekken 8 definitely has the highest potential to be one of the best narrative experiences we've ever experienced. Jin having full control of the Devil Gene is a game changer not only in terms of combat, he's a much more viable and dangerous character, but in terms of the narrative it changes everything. Jin has definitely increased his power exponentially, so Honestly, I wonder how much he fares in comparison to Kazuya now that he has a modicum of control of the devil gene. Is he slightly or way stronger than Kazuya after all of this time? This game will definitely answer all of these lingering questions. Now, Jin Kazama has been the main character for many years now, ever since his introduction over in Tekken 3, and throughout he's played little lesser side character roles, particularly in Tekken 7 he was injured or sleeping for the majority of his tenure in that game. But now that I think about it, if you look at the marketing and everything, it all points to Kazuya being the main antagonist, but I think that's not really the case. I think the main antagonist of this game is going to be more so the devil gene itself. What makes me think this is the Jun Kazama trailer. I personally think there is still room for a redemption arc for Kazuya. The devil gene has definitely affected his personality. He definitely has given some sketchy and evil vibes since his tenure, but I think there is still some sort of hope for him, as his love for Jun Kazama did seem genuine. Now, let's have a look at Jin Kazama's rage art for a moment. Now, as I've said before, I want you guys to look at this entire thing from a narrative perspective. The way Jin pulls the power of the devil gene into his fist, then releases it into a devastatingly powerful punch, is obviously a very cool finisher. It's a great way to convey to us as the community how much he's grown over time. Now, I could be reading into this a little bit too much, but let's see how this rage art and power could play into the ultimate conclusion of the Mishima saga. Could such a power be used to eradicate the devil gene entirely? We've never seen this power used in such a way. Maybe with the help of Jun Kazama, both Jin and Kazuya can be saved. Perhaps that would be too much of a happy ending, but it all depends on the execution. In my opinion, continuing the patricide by killing Kazuya, by Jin killing Kazuya, just seems to be a boring ending and would be more so a rehash of what happened in Tekken 7. Fingers are crossed. I'm looking forward to an interesting and exciting single-player campaign this time around. Just hoping that a little bit more time, attention, and effort is put into the single-player campaign and the other single-player modes as well. We need Team Battle back. We need an extensive arcade mode that's exciting and has a really cool and interesting boss to fight. And character stories that are actually worthwhile, aren't throwaway stories, but actually interesting character stories for at least the majority of the characters. Those are my thoughts, guys. What do you guys think? My theory is a little bit too far-fetched for you. Just what are your thoughts in terms of the narrative and what we could be served on the platter for Tekken 8? Till we speak again, gents, take it easy.